Okay, so I have a pretty nice fabric here and a little bit of time, so I'm going to make a cute tank top for spring/summer or for whatever you want. So yeah, anyone can do this, and by anyone I mean if you try hard. So the best way to get the measurements is to measure on top of your breasticles. Remember that number, and then measure around your waist. Remember that number. And then the last measurement you need is from the top of where you want the shirt to sit on your body to the bottom. So like so. So like so. Wow. Great English there. And just remember that number, and all these three numbers are going to make the shape for what we're going to cut out from our fabric. Another way you could do this is by using a shirt similar to the one you want to make, and just get the main three measurements that I mentioned before. So the waist, the chesticle measurement, and the length of the shirt. Oh, and did I mention the fabric has to be stretchy for this? Well, it does. Anyways, now it's time to cut out our first rectangle. So remember the length that you measured this shirt? Well, mine was 12 inches. I'm going to cut out my rectangle about 13, maybe 14 if you feel like it, inches, just to account for the hem when we hem our shirt in. And then I'm cutting out my rectangle the width of the top of my chesticle measurement, which was 36 inches. I'm not adding any extra to this because the fabric is stretchy and I want it to be really tight, so I don't need to add any seam allowance. So now I need to make my shirt. Well, it's not really a shirt yet. It's more like a rectangle, but anyways, I'm making it more trapezoidal so that it cinches down at my waist and fits me in both places. So I'm folding my fabric in half and finding the 15-inch mark because that was half of what my waist measurement was, which was 30 inches. And I'm going to cut a diagonal line from that 15-inch mark to the top of the rest of the rectangle, which is now half a trapezoid. It's just easier because you could cut both sides like this at once. Now we have a long rectangle that is a trapezoid, but we're actually going to cut this bad boy in half. Once you have two pieces, you'll notice that one side is a straight edge and the other has a diagonal edge on it. So what we need to do is match the diagonal edge on the straight edge so that it cinches down the same amount on both sides of your body. The best way I found to do this is to set the two pieces on top of each other and use one as the guide for the straight piece to cut it to the same diagonalness as the other. So here I am just flipping it over and cutting it so that both sides go down like a funnel to your waist. And the top and bottom should still be the same measurements as we measured out before. And once all that's done, it's time to put those two pieces right sides together and stitch along these sides. You'll need to use a zigzag stitch or a stretch stitch on your machine if you have one, so that the fabric can, you guessed it, stretch. Anyways, I dare you to say stretch stitch 5 times fast because stretch is stretch. Sorry, I think there's something in my throat. Anyways, here's what it looks like when that step is done, and after that you can try it on inside out if you want and see how you like the fit. The top of mine was a little bit big for my liking because I guess I'm not as trapezoidal as I thought, but the bottom I liked. So I took a mental note of how much to take it in at the top, and I just sewed a new line and blended it into the line I already sewed at the bottom. So just a less trapezoidal line. You could pin it if you're a pro, but I'm just a winger. So anyways, here's the final bodice after I made it a little bit tighter to my body. And once you do that, you could cut off any extra fabric you have going on there because you don't want it to be bunchy. Okay, here's what it looks like when it is done. You just have to make sure that it stays on when you're doing crazy activities. So you could do the arm flail test, the jump test, whatever you want. But the shirt passed, so now it's time to move on to the hemming phase. I like to do a rolled hem to my garments, but that might be a little advanced for you. If you have a fabric that doesn't fray, you can just do one if you want. This fabric is kind of rolly anyways, but how I do it is I just kind of freehand one fold and then fold that fold over that fold. So I roll it essentially. And then I just work my way around the whole thing, trying to make it as even as I can by working one couple inches at a time and then folding the rest as it goes through. If you want to be like extra precise, you could totally pin it, you could totally iron it. It's up to you. But anyways, here is the completed cylinder. Woo! And now it's time to measure out how long you want your straps to be. And just kind of go for where you think this shirt fits on your back, and then just add like 3 inches, because you can always go shorter, but you can't go longer. So mine was about 18 inches long, so I'm going to cut out 2 pieces of fabric that are 18 inches long and twice the width you want your final strap width to be. So I want my final strap width to be 2 inches when it connects on my shirt, so I'm cutting these pieces out 4 inches wide. This is because you sew it together and it makes like a tube, so it kind of cuts it in like half, in case you didn't understand why. So now it's time to fold these bad boys right sides together, hot dog style, and to sew all along the raw edges. And once you're done with that step, you'll have these kind of tubey thingies. It's time to put a trusty dusty safety pin on one end and fish it through the other side. Just kind of massage it through. So yeah. Anyways, once you pull those 2 out, you'll have your 2 straps. And now it's time to mark where you want them on your shirt. So just make sure that both the seams are on your sides and you're not wearing your tube top like all crooked. And then you could just put 2 pins in where you want these straps to be in the front. After that, you can put the strap where you marked the pin to be on the shirt and go ahead and sew it all down right along the hemline where you previously sewed. And this is what it looks like when you're done. You'll probably be wondering, how the frick am I supposed to mark out where to put it in the back? Well, you could ask a friend. Hey, can you mark this for me? Yeah, just like mark it where it hits the back, please. Yeah, just make sure they're like kind of tight, you know, so it like holds the shirt up. Oh, you want to pin here? Is that a no? If your friend is giving you the cold shoulder, you could always turn the front of your shirt to now be the back and pull the straps over to the front, which is theoretically the back, and just pin where you think they should go. And then sew those bad boys down. And after I sewed those down, I realized I wanted some extra security to these straps, and I didn't really care about the seam line, so I just sewed a square around the strap onto the shirt. And that's what it looks like up close. See, you can barely tell anyways. And if you have a little extra flap of a strap like me, you could just cut them off, and this fabric shouldn't fray, so we shouldn't have to worry about that. Anyways, here is the completed shirt, and woo, congratulations if you did it, and if not, congrats for watching this, I guess. I don't really know. I've always wanted to make tags for my clothing, so I thought, what better time than now? I'm cutting out a little strip of spare fabric I had, and I'm embroidering it on my sewing machine, and now I'm just attaching the tag to the back of my shirt. Bitch. This collection is called Bitch by Live and Create. Oh, and I also made a scrunchie. Dee-dee-dee, I got matching scrunchie. You could buy it on my Etsy if you really want to. Yeah, yeah. bitch by Live and Create. Oh, my knees. The blowing. Oh, my back. Oh.